All right. Hello, everyone, or the one. There's no everyone. What's up tonight? Nobody's shown up. I thought I'd put a little short live stream just to see if there is anyone around, and we'll spend a half an hour or so, answer a few people, and then I'll get back with other stuff. So if you've got a question regarding thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, ego, regarding breakups, emotional hardships, or OCD subsets, intrusive thoughts, pure, we'll discuss components of mind, components of brain involved in that glitch, and we'll discuss stuff that is concerning you as quickly possibly we can on a live stream. And if you want to speak with me more in detail, you can go on my site, make an appointment, and we'll discuss what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. So let's see what comment we have here. Shelby SRT says, hello, Mehran. I hope all has been great. Thank you very much, Shelby. Don't forget age, gender, where you're tuning in from. That's our protocol, right? Says your videos and help means the world to me. So thank you for that. You're quite welcome. So I recently met this girl and really like her. Congratulations. It's always a good news. So, but today she said she's extremely stressed. And stressed about what? Did she say, oh, there it is. There's a part two. Says with work, she's extremely stressed with work and even apologized for being in a bad mood. It has only been 2 weeks, but she has changed since today and has been distant. 32 male, South California, right? Or South Carolina. Carolina, I guess. All right. So is there a question there? Are you trying to ask me what is she doing? Why don't you bloody ask her, for heaven's sake? California, South California. All right. All right, Shelby. Sprech. Spill it out. What's on your mind? Should I worry? Listen, with girls, we should always worry. Because today they're in love, tomorrow they're out of love. Today they're infatuated with you, tomorrow they're not. And that's not because you're not infatuatable or infatuating quality. It's because most women, they don't have enough confidence in themselves. So if you put them on pedestal and you love them so much and wear your heart on your sleeve, which is the way I like to go, but not every woman can understand that. And that's a good test. If they cannot understand how you feel, how you express your emotions and feelings, that's not your cup of tea. Don't try to convince her that you're such a good person. It just means she cannot dig or capture or understand the value of a man like you who's straightforward and is not playing any games. So that's the best way to know she's not for you. Now, when most women, not all, most women don't have enough confidence, that kind of woman, when you pay so much attention to them, to show them how much you care and love, because they don't have enough confidence, they may say, question themselves in their mind, I'm not so hot. I'm not so amazing. Why is this guy so into me? If I'm not so hot, that I know I'm not, but this guy thinks that I am, but I know I'm not. Therefore, maybe there's something wrong with this guy. Maybe this guy is not confident. Maybe it's not the right person for me. It's not good enough for me. And if it's not good enough for me, I don't want him. So they change their mind. So you got to look back into the way you've treated her. Is this a girl who's got confidence? Is this a girl who appreciates honesty? Is this a girl who appreciates a good man? Or she wants to be played with because her level of understanding of her worth and value is gauged by who doesn't pay attention to her. Because if you pay attention to her and she moves away, that means she doesn't have enough confidence in herself, and she's only attracted to the ones who don't give her what she actually looking for. Therefore, she goes after them. And those people could be very well assholes. She's attracted to because she feels if they're not paying attention to her, they're too good for her. And that's the kind of man that she wants, because she feels if they're not paying attention to her, they may be good enough for her, the quality that she's looking for. These are fucked up brains, and you don't want to fuss with them. So if you have treated her decently, but not overly excited, like taking flowers for her in the first date or two, first date maybe, depending on, the level of interest, mutually. If you haven't been really texting her all the time or being needy, you haven't done any of that, but just straightforward, treated her nice and cordial, at the same time warm and friendly, and found things in common, not taking things too seriously, but at the same time, a gentleman, and she pulls away, good riddance. The hell with her. Let her go. Because why would you be with someone who's actually pulling away? Why in the world? I don't care how much infatuated you are with that girl. I don't care how much you love that girl or want that girl, or desire that girl, or want to have sex with her, how hot she is. I don't give a shit about that. The question is, why would you want to be with someone who doesn't appreciate and get closer to you when you treat her nicely and she was into you just a few days ago? That means that woman is not reliable, is not strong enough in her own emotions, let alone to be a support when you actually need a friend, a special friend. So here's the scenario. She's either bullshitting you because she's lost interest. In that way, who gives a shit? Let her go. She's not the embodiment of life. The universal ass didn't open up and she's the only female fell out of it. If you desire her, it's just because you desire her. But your desire is not an evidence that she's top of the line. It just means you're hoarding. That's all. Or you just somehow haven't found the right girl, and this one seems to be, okay, what's available, and that's great. And she's nice. But the same girl that you kind of not really think that she's all that, as soon as she starts pulling away, you feel, oh, she must have been all that. I just didn't see it. No, it's your desire playing with yourself. You see something, a prey is moving away, and you try to run faster. No. So either that, or she's genuinely apologizing for having been cold because she's been stressed at work. Now, you wouldn't mind asking her, oh, what's happening at work? What kind of stress? Is there a trouble from the management, or is it your workload? So you would kind of get a feel of how she feels. And at the same time, you'd see if she's bullshitting or there's actually an issue at work. Either way, I would say you just cool off for a bit until you know what she meant by all that. So if this happened yesterday, cool off for the next few days, forever, until she texts you. Because if it's genuine, then when she's not stressed, she'd be thinking of you and she'd wonder, why is he not calling me anymore? Why is he not texting me? Let me see how he is. But if she actually said that to get rid of you, so to speak, that she's not interested anymore, well, why should you text her? So, and the question, should I worry, is a wrong question. Because in no case you should worry. Why would you worry? That the girl wouldn't like you? In that case, why would you want to be with someone who doesn't like you? What's the worry then? Worry that if she goes away, you can't find another girl? Well, that's the biggest baloney I've ever heard. There are billions of women out there, one better than the other one. Worried because you don't have the guts or the time, or you're not, you don't want to go hunting again because you think, oh, I got to introduce myself to her and all that, whoever it is, the new girl, and you're being lazy. Well, be worried about being lazy, not worried about not getting another girl. Whether you want it or not, you'll find another girl. But until then, just don't come to any conclusion. Just let's see what happens. If she calls you or texts you within the next 5 days, well, okay, we'll see where that goes. If she didn't, fuck it. Don't text her anymore, because that was a bullshit for her to kind of end it. And that's fine. Don't go crying and say, oh my goodness, she might end. So big fucking deal. Why would you want to be with a girl who actually ends it with you? If she ends it, okay. Bye-bye. Adios, amigos. Thank you. All right. Let's see who else we have here. We have Roasting Holmes, who says, sir, how to learn things quickly? Well, pay full attention. Rather than while you're trying to learn things, you're thinking about, I don't know, some girl you met, or some homework you gotta do, or some job that you're looking for, or you have to finish a project. Fully 100% focus. Increase your focusing ability, then you will learn things fast. Look, the power is in concentration, but there's more power in how long can you sustain a concentration. Look, if you have a magnifying glass and you use this magnifying glass in the heat of the summer, as soon as you put it on a piece of paper, you will see the piece of paper is kind of lit up by light. But nothing happens unless you keep that concentration of light through the lens on the paper for a bit of a long time. Depending on the power of the sun, if it's a really hot sun, as soon as you fix it to be a very small point on the paper, within a few seconds, it catches fire. When there's not enough sun, and it's an afternoon of a winter sun, which is not a strong sun, but same magnifying glass and same focusing abilities of that glass can still cause fire to the paper. However, the power is there, but now the power must sustain longer. That means you got to keep that focused on that paper a little longer. So where's the power? Is in focusing, or is in sustaining the focusing ability for a bit of a long time. So it's a duration that you can stay focused is where it gives you power and learning ability, not just to be focused. Everybody can focus, but whomever can focus longer and stand focusing for a long time, that's the one that will actually gain the most amount of power out of that focusing. So that's what you got to do. And we have Yashi says, good morning, sir. Good morning. And the roasting home says, sir, I'm him, 20 years old, from India. Sir, when I try to learn something, my mind say, repeat this again and again in your mind. Sir, is this important to repeat things in your mind to learn? Because it's pissed me off. No, you don't have to repeat things, but you got to imagine what you're reading. Because if it's pictorial, look, in the olden days, when we didn't have this brain, we couldn't speak, we couldn't think, but we could communicate with that primitive brain. If you remember, in your history, you've seen that they have found in caves pictures that was drawn when human being could not speak or think way far back, because human being could still communicate through pictures. Pictures had a very powerful way of communicating. It was very clear. So when you're reading words, if you have a hard time learning it fast, when you read it, imagine the word's meaning by its pictorial representation. So when you're reading, you can actually see like a movie. Then you'll remember it better. All right. And Nicholas Lopez Herrera says, Mister, I used to love, okay, age, gender, where you tuning in from? First, I got to know how old you are and where you are and what your gender is, please. And I read your question while I'm waiting for that. Says, Mister, I used to have HOCD, sexual thoughts, and stuff like that. But now it feels like it's different. I no longer have sexual thoughts, but I have thoughts like I'm bisexual, feels this identity feeling. And mm, feeling no thoughts, just feeling like it's no difference because feelings comes from thought. So the thought is created, then you get the feeling. So it's the same, only just bypasses the thought because you've been doing this thought thing for so long now, automatically this feeling without need for any thought is appearing in your system. But it's still HOCD. It's no different than what it was before. It's only a different way. So don't fall for it. So I'm 21, Peru. I'm a male. Thank you for that, Nicholas. Now, Yash says, I can't able to send super chat. It is saying you need to be 18. Ah, okay. How old are you, Yash? Yeah, and thank you for reminding me. Guys, remember, we've decided that we want to continue this channel, and this channel cannot survive without support. And I have supported for 13 years. Now it's time for you guys to support it. So, as Jesse from Germany suggested, in order to be able to sustain this service and this channel, I'm not going to spend any more money out of my own money anymore. I make my money somewhere else. But this channel needs to make money on itself. So all questions now need to have super chat in order to help the channel survive. And Yash, you're 17. Okay. You're excused. Kea says, hello, sir. I'm 23 from Malaysia, female. Hello, Keo. Excuse me. Kea says, I'm afraid to marry. Then don't marry. No problem. And Yash says, so how am I supposed to ask a question? Go ahead, ask your question. You're 17, so you're excused. Uh, Kea says, Kea, gotta let me know. Okay, you're 23 years old. Anyone over 18, 18 or over, needs to support the channel with super chat so we can survive it. We can advertise, we can get subscriptions up, and we can, do things that we need to do for a better program, or maybe, I don't know, green background or something. And so we have Sorthak. It's a new member. Thank you for that. And let's see. And let's see who will have the OMG Kenji says maybe there is a way to pin the super chat introduction to the top for people to see along with the age, gender, location, and requirement. Oh, okay. I don't know how to do it, OMG. If you have a way, let me know. Please remember the new, what is it? New way of keeping the channel going. Super chats are what has been decided to be the way with every question. It's a long one, but gotta explain it, I guess. All right. So Kenya says, I know all people are not like this, are not like this. How come I overcome the, how can I? How can I overcome this insecurity to marry? Well, oops. Well, I think if you really love the guy and the guy is qualified in your mind and meets your expectations and you have enough commonalities, you wouldn't be scared. You're scared because you don't trust the guy. You don't think it's the right choice. Maybe he's not educated enough, or not a good job, not good looking enough, or not what you're expecting, or haven't really been able to secure your trust, or the emotions are not there, or you're not turned on by the guy. So all these things could be the reasons. Otherwise, naturally, a man and a woman, when they get together, they want to, the plan is to get to know each other so they can go further and mate. And with that, traditionally comes, possibly in some cultures, marriage. If that is the way to go in your country, in your culture, and what you have in mind, then it would naturally come to you. If it's not, that means maybe there are some criteria that hasn't been, you know, um, positively met in your expectations of the guy. So you say because of things that are happening around, like cheating, like he cheats on you, or just because others are cheating on each other, and open relationships. And recently I heard people that are into marriage have fantasy of cuckold. Oh. A cuckold means a man who raises somebody else's child with his wife. In other words, they're married, the woman cheats and goes to bed with somebody else and gets pregnant, and that man takes the child as his own. Or a woman who has already slept with someone, has a child, and then someone comes and becomes involved with the woman and raises the child. So either way, I don't really think you going about this right, because it doesn't make sense. If you like the guy, why would you have all these questions? and I'm afraid to marry a man who has this fantasy. What do you mean? Are you just implying, or your guy actually has told you about this is his fantasy for you to get pregnant with somebody else and then he raises the child? I don't understand. Could you explain a little bit more? I don't understand what you're really saying because that doesn't make sense. Which asshole in the world marries a woman and says, "Go have a child with somebody else and I'll raise it"? I don't think that's a man. All right, all right. I think you have an OCD of insecurity and intrusive thoughts. It's got nothing to do with the poor guy. You're just making up things because that's your need to be assured of everything, and is spilled over this too. So I think I had to deal with the OCD rather than anything else. That's from as far as I can tell from this little bit they've told me. And OMG says, find a message from live chat, even your own, and top or click more, top or click pin. Oh, okay. Let me see if I can do this one. There it is. You mean this? Is that what you mean, OMG? All right. And says, is what I found on how to do. Okay. Kayla says, sir, my fiance is a nice and lovely, but sometimes the way he spoke, I don't understand. I love him so much, but this internet is ruining everything, like saying about relationships. So what you told me is what you read on internet about other people, and you think your man may end up being like that. What kind of a nonsense is this? It is not the internet that is ruining your life, so to speak. It is you who is ruining your life, but going to internet trying to find things about your man when it's got nothing to do with what is happening among other people around the world. You just said people are not all like this. So why is it that when you read something, because you have OCD and you believe bullshit when you read, because you have this need to be assured that this thing is not true. That's not going to happen to you. Who said it's going to happen to you? It's like saying someone is a murderer. Then from then you start thinking, oh, how about this one? How about my daddy is a murderer? How about this one is? Why you conjure up things? All right. We have a super chat from Sartak, and that is 20, I think it's rupees, if I'm not mistaken. Now, let's go to Sartak. But we don't have him as a question. Like, he has no question. Sartak, by all means, ask a question at least now that you've helped the channel, and thank you for that. OMG says can also have the rules about posting age, gender, and location. Yeah, we do. We've asked everybody to let me know before the question is answered, age, gender, where you're tuning in from. But I don't think they care. Chaos says, I mean the question things from internet he have seen. I don't know what he has seen. What you told me here, you didn't tell me it is something you have seen or something you have heard or something he has desired and told you about, something he has read. Could you please kindly explain more? Because we're going back and forth for no reason. Make your explanations, guys and girls, clear so I can read it once and see what you really mean. And the roasting home says, sir, I have two questions. One, what is focus? Focus is when you want to see something clear. You know, if you have glasses and the glasses are not clean, you put it on and you can't see through it. You can't focus. maybe you have a headache, and or and you say, oh my goodness, I can't focus. Or you're just tired and you're reading something and keep falling asleep. You say, oh, I can't focus. Focus when you have no sleeping problems, for so to speak. You're not tired and your eyes are fresh, and you can focus clearly on what you're looking at. You can read it, and your mind can stay with what you're looking at and what you're trying to understand. It can stay and read it and analyze it and understand what it says, what you're reading. That's focusing. But seeing something is not focusing. I can see things, but I'm not focusing. I'm just seeing, passing by. It's like you, you're passing by and you hear music. You hear music while you're passing, or while you're doing something, while you're running, or while you're reading your book, and suddenly somebody plays the music and you can hear it. That's not focusing. But if you yourself sit quietly on your couch and put a specific music to enjoy it, and you're focusing on how it's being played and how it makes you feel, then you're really focusing on hearing the music. Intentionally, you want to digest the music, digest that information. That's focusing. When you have a magnifying glass and you put it on a paper, sun comes through it, and you see there's a light shining on the paper because it's a reflection of sunlight going through the magnifying glass, and it makes the paper lit. But if you change the angle and closeness and distance of this magnifying glass to the point that that big lump of or blob of light tightens up, squeezes itself, and becomes a small point on the paper, that's when you have focused the light. It's no longer projected, it's focused, concentrated. And that's focusing. Says how to get rid of procrastination. Procrastination, you can get rid of it by doing what you think you got to be doing it tomorrow, today. As soon as you remember you got to do something, getting up and doing it. It's like you're reading something, there's a word you don't know about, you say, oh, I got to look it up in the dictionary. That's procrastinations. But if you see the word you don't know and you say, I want to know the meaning, and get up and go get the dictionary, open it up and see what it means, that's opposite of procrastinations. All right. And Chaos says, I mean, the question things from me. Okay. Chaos says the internet influence things like cheating. There is always another guy, girl. There are guys, girls with cuckold fantasies. What does that mean? I mean, there are people who like to, I don't know, eat snake. That doesn't mean everybody is going to run to eat snake because they saw it on internet. Some people don't like to eat snake. Some people, whether they read it or not, they like to look for a snake. You're just thinking, but your guy is a what, cockroach? There's no brain. Sees something suggested and says, oh, I want to do it. Or food is advertised, I want to eat it. No, it looks at the ingredients. What does it entail? What's the risk of it? So if he's anyone who's got some brain, so what the fuck would I have such a fantasy of, raising somebody else's kid? Why would I do that? I mean, I think you're just going nuts a little bit, and you're trying to look for excuses not to marry the guy. So what is your intention? And what is your ideal situation when everybody's dead in this world and there's no temptation of anyone, no bullshit information anywhere? So your guy's got no brain, is just there for people tell him what to do, what to eat, where to go, how to live, and he will do it? Or do you believe that the guy that you want to marry, put your trust in his hand, is someone who can think for himself and say, whatever I see or do is because I want to see it and I want to do, not because it's on internet or somebody suggested it? Well, if he's the guy who's going to take suggestion of other people or read something on internet and says, I got to do that, well, you're making the mistake of thinking that's the right guy. So your values are all messed up. But do you expect nobody in this world to exist before you comfortably can marry your guy? What are you marrying? An intelligent man or just some cockroach somewhere? You can be convinced of doing things that you didn't know or didn't want to do it. I said those are the meaningless things internet influenced by people. Yeah, but why do you say influence? Internet has all kind of shit on it and all kind of good stuff on it. You live by your choices and vetoes. You don't live by people's suggestions and be a pushover and they tell you to do this and you do that. That's not a human being. That's a weak human being. You choose. There's so many things in this world. You go to a bazaar, there's so many shops and stores, and everybody wants to sell you something. But you buy if you need something. You don't buy just because a salesman running after you. Please buy this. And the same thing, information is out there, all kinds. You're not supposed to see the information. So, oh, I'm going to run do this. Oh, I'm influenced now. Or your boyfriend or whatever. You make a choice. Is there something in line with my values? Am I going to do that? No, of course not. So fuck it. Move on. Why are you thinking like that? I think you think other people or internet or information is supposed to making your choices for you. Well, that's on you, not on the internet. There's so many garbage on internet, on TV, and people talk and do things. People, the activities that people have, many of them are not in line with your values. So what about that? So you got to go to an island where there's nobody else there, no internet, no communication, nothing you can choose or veto, and then you'll be fine. So how about your own brain? It has a glitch. It can go disorder. Are you going to believe your brain? No, even in your brain and your thoughts as created by the brain, you live by your vetoes and choices. You choose a thought to ever allow it to become a reality and actuality in your life or not. Not just because it showed up, it's a suggestion, it's an image, suggests me to be this, therefore I am. What if you get up tomorrow and as a thought comes to your head, says, you're a cat. You're going to believe it? So I'm a cat today. Or you're a statue of, I don't know, whatever. So you're going to go stand like that? No. You choose or veto, whether it's a thought in your own head or something else people say, or the Google and whatever. She says he then just laugh about it, shrugs it off. I don't understand why he asked me about this, then laugh it off. It's just, I think you're so simple. He's just playing with you and being funny or whatever. Just tell him, ask him. Say, why do you ask me that? What do you mean? Are you interested in such thing? You can ask and get those worries away. Joseph Casano says, hi, Meron. So glad you do this live. I hope others also continue to support the channel. You're great. Thank you very much, Joseph. I appreciate that very much. And again, thank you very much for your super chat last time. And let's see what else we have here. The Roasting Home says, sir, one last question. Sir, whenever I to go outside for running, my brain say what other people think about me. That thought stops me doing the running and is not only about running, stops me to do anything. Well, the problem is that you think because the brain is on top of your head is you. Brain is not you. You're not the brain. Brain is an organ, is an apparatus. Its job is to make thoughts. So it makes thoughts, all kind of thoughts. 80, 90,000 thoughts a day it makes. None of them you're aware of, or the ones you're aware of. You don't have time to go and judge every single one of them because there is a mechanism in midbrain basal ganglia striatums called caudate nucleus. Caudate nucleus is its job is to shut down the intrusive thoughts as they are not in line with your values, and it knows what your values are. But when it doesn't function well, it kind of breaks down, then you got to help the caudate nucleus to rewire itself and come back to a default setting and function properly by when these sort of shitty thoughts show up, it just dissipates them, kind of deletes them. As soon as, oh, that's a nasty thought, boom, it's gone. But when it's malfunctioning, then you got to help understand and retrain the brain with things like 4 steps of Dr. Schwartz, and you remember what to do, how to follow, and you rewire your brain, and it will come back to how it usually functions. But these intrusive thoughts, the way you deal with them is that, okay, it's intrusive thought. I'm not interested in that. I'm not going to debate it. I'm just going to, ignore it and do my thing. That's how you deal with it. It's not like, oh, because the brain said so, so I must follow. No, brain is an organ. For 1,000,000 years, you lived without this brain. Yeah? You didn't have this brain. You had stem brain. Everything was instinctive. You would run, you would hunt, you would sleep, you would have sex. Everything was clear. Sexuality was clear. There was no question. Why? Because you couldn't think and you couldn't speak, and words have meanings, and those meanings would affect a certain emotion, and the brain would react on that meaning and make the body react in a certain way, and you would end up thinking, oh, well, then, I am what the brain says. No, you lived for 1,000,000 years without this brain. Everything was hardwired. But 40,000 years ago, we human beings end up having this kind of a sophisticated brain, which breaks down for many different reasons. And it has the capability of thinking and speaking. And since then, we have all these psychological problems long more than ever before. Before, it was all biological, which would make the brain be not properly functioning. But now the brain is healthy, but still it's got glitches, psychological glitches. And that makes people not understand that this is an organ with disorder, not that they are actually believing or are what the brain suggests to them. It's an organ. You choose or veto what this organ conjures up in the form of thoughts or whatever. So that's how you deal with it. And don't worry, and don't forget about Dr. Schwartz's way of handling and dealing with OCD. Now we have Sartak again sends a 40 rupees of super chat. Thank you very much for supporting channel, dear. But you have no questions. I want to see a question at least now that you're supporting channel. It says male 34. When someone rejects me, I think I'm a girl. Okay. So there are all kinds of thoughts coming to the brain, but if you don't pay attention to it and focus on your own values, it doesn't affect you. Haven't you ever had weird thoughts that are not true, but you weren't worried about those because you didn't have anything to do with your sexuality? And when there's no comment or suggestions or images that has anything to do with our sexuality, which is very important with us, that's what we identify with, we don't react. Like a thought of a pile of shit comes to my mind. Oh, okay, so that's nasty, but it's got no consequence to me, so I don't care about it. But when a thought of some kind of a sexual thing comes in, like what you said, if you're rejected, you think you're a girl, suddenly because it's about your sexuality, you believe it. It's the same fucked up brain that can make all kind of other bullshit thoughts, such as pile of shit in your head or image of it, but you're okay with that because it doesn't, bother you because it means nothing. But when it's about something that's important to you, suddenly you think it might be true. No, it has the same value as the pile of shit picture in your head. And if you treat it that way, then eventually it will learn that you don't give a shit about these things. You don't pay attention to it, and then you don't entertain it, and they start showing up less and less. And next time you reject it, you don't think. And even if the thought of it comes to you, so what? It's a thought. It's not you. And Yash says, I should eat the food knowing that it's just food, not the image in reality, and just eat it even if I am getting the image. But the main problem its cause when it comes with the sensation. It always comes with most, if not all, thoughts would end up causing a sensation. It's like when you sometimes feel, oh my goodness, there's a spider crawling on my skin or an ant crawling on my skin. But you look, there's no ant, there's no spider, nothing. But there was some feeling. Now, whether the feeling came first or a spider thought comes first, it's either way, it's going to cause a sensation. But that sensation is not an evidence that there is an ant or there's a spider on your skin. Because you look, there's nothing, but you had a sensation. So how come when a sensation comes and you look, there is no representation of something crawling on your skin? But then when the thought comes in, and then comes in with a sensation, you think, oh, the thought might be right. So if the sensation comes in and you don't see anything crawling on your skin, you know that it's not right, and it doesn't bother you. But if the thought comes in, and thought coming from the brain, and brain has the power to make the body react to a thought. The brain can make the body react to a thought, even though nothing about it is real or accurate or actual. But it's a thought, but the brain has the power to make the body react to the thought. So what does that mean? That the thought is correct? But no, it's not. I prove it to you. Close your eyes, every one of you, and imagine that you're on a tour to France. France. All of you have been gone to travel as a group to France. And the tour guide has taken you all on a nice sunny day to a vineyard outside of Paris. It was a long trip. You're all there, excited, all these vineyards, but it's out of season. There are no ripe grapes. All grapes are green and sour like hell because it's not the season. So the tour guide gives you each a cluster of these green, sour grapes, and you put it in your mouth and crunch into it. This sour thing makes all your mouth full of water. And after that, the tour guide gives you a lime to every one of you to squeeze it in your mouth. On top of that, if you notice, most of you are focused on what I said, have saliva in your mouth. But is there any sour grape here? Have you bitten on sour grape? Is there any lime there? None. But the thought of it made your brain powerful enough. It is powerful enough. The thought of it, brain made the thought to make the body react. So you have saliva in your mouth. But there is nothing real about this experience. So the brain has the power to make the body react. But the reaction of the body is not an evidence that the thought is actually correct or has any credibility. Got it? So same thing with this. Okay. All right. Okay, yeah. All that, what the brain says, and all that, the brain makes the body react, and the emotion, all that, which you're saying, Josh, all is bullshit, is what the brain says. Brain is not you, you're not the brain. So your choice is to believe it or not to believe and stick with your values and what you prefer and what you choose and not what the brain suggests. Brain is an organ, it's not you. So it's got no credibility. There is no smarts in the brain. Dr. Speary, Dr. Penfield, Dr. Owen, Dr. Libet, none of them have ever, especially Dr. Speary and Dr. Libet, Dr. Penfield, who are neurosurgeons who have operated on the brain thousands of times to localize center for certain activity, they could never localize smart center in the brain. They could localize motoring, they could localize sight center, they could never localize compassion center, love center. They could never localize political or math center. They could never localize intelligence center. So what's the credibility of the brain? Nothing, zero, because it has no credibility. It just makes thoughts randomly. So if it's got a glitch that makes these inappropriate thoughts in your head, that's all it is. It's a malfunction of the signaling system of the brain, and it's got nothing to do with any reality, actuality, even though it can make your body react, but that's all there is to it. Got it? All right. Now, okay, Yash, you see now? You have OCD. You keep on going, keep saying different scenarios, and I just told you one fact about it that covers all these scenarios, but you keep going for different scenarios, but this, but that. I'm telling you, all of them falls under what I just explained about what the brain is and how you should treat it. So Joseph says, yeah, the more you keep thinking about that and arguing with what it is and isn't, the more it, yeah, that's right. When give it up, overcome, it goes away. Yeah, you're right. You're straight. Okay. All right, guys. It's been almost an hour. And I thank you for the ones who helped the channel with Super Chat. And welcome Sarthak as a new member. I appreciate that. And what else can I say? And also for the Super Chats, Sarthak. So if you guys have no more questions, I think it's time for me to mosey on out. I just wanted to spend an hour with you guys and then answer a few questions. And then we'll try to have another live stream some other night. And looks like we have no more questions. Yash, stop these questions. All of them, regardless of which one was deleted or not, they're all having the same answers as I explained. So use the same answer. You can rewatch this program, use the same answer, and use it to respond or answer your concern. All right, guys. It's time for me to say I love you all. Thank you very much for being here and giving the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I look forward to our next live stream. In the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.